GS Cycling.
For too long. We've got a big racing schedule.
Politely asking him to come off the track though.
Well, the men's C5 scratch race is now, you can see, coming onto the track. That will be followed by the women's elite individual pursuit finals, the men's C2 individual pursuit finals. Then it's the women's team sprint. Races for the medals for them, and we will be finishing up tonight with the men's scratch race final with the defending champion on his 20th birthday. Looking to go back-to-back, Dylan Bibick from Canada, the young man, shocked the world by winning the scratch race last year at the age of 19 and defending his title on his birthday, 12 months on. Men's C5 scratch race riders up onto the track. Pablo Yaramelo from Spain. GB there. William Bergfeldt. Two riders from the United States. Brian Larson and Chris Murphy. Two from GB as well. Lane Hunt. There's the two Americans rolling off together. 60 laps of the track. They'll have a neutral lap to start with to make sure they are in formation.
As they roll around, they get ready to hear the gun to start them off.
And nice tight formation. We are underway. 60 laps of the velodrome here for the men's C5 scratch race. You'll see most of these riders within the Omnium series as well. And already the pace is right on. Chris Murphy it is from the United States, the first to put the pressure on the field. Swings up, everyone follows. And immediately the next attack goes.
Hungary and Brazil. William Mirza and Shaman Brazil open up a little gap, but they swing up the track. And the rest of the group comes back together.
Look over the shoulder there from Van der Poel from the Netherlands. Drifts up the track as well.
An attack underneath there from Will Bergfeldt.
And some hesitation back in the main field now. So only 4 laps into the race, and we have two riders that have just drifted off the front. Chris Murphy for the United States, Bergfeldt from Great Britain. And a bit of a desperate move now from the rider from Brazil. Just trying to get some coordination back in the main field. If they can at least keep the average speed of the peloton high, that makes it challenging for the two riders out in front to continue to open up the gap. If they hesitate for too long, that gap will really open up. The danger could be that they could take a lap on the field.
You can see that hesitation, that first bit just opened up the gap. And then no one wants to really pull them back. You know you're going to pull the rest of the group with you. But it seems Van der Poel really wants to move this group back together. And it looks like he's doing most of the work on the front.
And they've almost made the catch, but then again the peloton swings up, and that allows these two out in front to keep opening up the lead. They're working well together out there, but you can just see visibly starting to slow down a little bit, and the peloton starting to disintegrate slightly. Charman from Brazil has been really active trying to get this chase happening and decided if they're not going to do it together, he'll do it on his own. And just about to make his way across to the 2 leaders. But that has really done some damage to the rest of the field.
It's really exploded that race straight away. But now at the front, they're going to have to keep this moving if they want to keep the gap. But again, there's some tired legs. Already only 10 laps into this race.
Yes. 50 laps to go. And they've created an advantage over at least half of the field. Do they want to continue on with it? That's the big question. And it has put paid to half a dozen riders that have gone off the back. So the peloton dramatically reduced with the big chase that has seen our 2 riders that were off the front rejoin the peloton. And we'll see a few come from behind as well.
It almost resets itself, but it's the Brazilian again, Sharman. He really wants to make this race hard.
Lauro Sharman from Brazil. You can see the commissaire pointing to who the lead rider is every lap, every time they come through. That race official lets everybody know exactly who is out in front. When the races really do split up and laps start get taken, that's really important to have the commissaire fully focused on who it is that's actually at the front of the peloton. 47 laps to go now. Sharman leads the way for Brazil. And we see a few of the first riders that were unable to keep up with that hot pace right from the start.
That gap now is slowly going out. You almost just have to commit to the effort. He's out there now. He just needs to hold his own pace and hope the hesitation continues in the peloton behind.
So difficult to maintain a high speed on your own in the front of a scratch race peloton. It's the hesitation that we're now starting to see. That could be to the advantage of Lauro Sharman from Brazil. That's really allowed the gap to open up, and as they come down the back straight, he comes through the front straight, and it's about half a lap to the back of the peloton. Less than that to the front of the peloton, but it's the back of the peloton that Lauro was looking for. He wants to gain a lap and win this scratch race. 42 laps to go as they come through to the finish line. 43, in fact.
But those counter-attacks are coming now, thick and fast. But it's just that consistency of effort. They really need to bring it back, but again, Sharman is just doing his job. He's out there now. He's committed to this effort. His legs will be screaming. He'd probably be thinking, I wish I wasn't here, but he has no choice now. You have to just commit and hope that bunch sits up so you can join the back.
Well, there was a big move from Lasser from Austria, but that has been brought back. And often after attacks come back into the field, there is that hesitation again, which could be to the advantage of Sharman out in front. There is a big acceleration, as you can see, as they came through the camera there. So a real acceleration on the front of the peloton. This could be the death nod to our single rider out in front.
But it's almost every time someone does a really big attack, second wheel doesn't want to commit. They don't want to keep that effort going.
Well, big performance there from Daniel Abraham from the Netherlands just to kick that speed up in the peloton, and it has caused a reaction. There has been a split. You can see him coming through again now. So this is the man that did the damage only a couple of laps ago. Swings through, short turn of pace now from Abraham from the Netherlands.
And Abraham, a 3-time Paralympic champion in Rio and Tokyo, so the experience really showing there. He's done enough to pull that bunch through, and then everyone else has brought the Brazilian with that brave attack back.
And that is it for Lauro Sharman back into the peloton now after an incredibly big effort from him. So he needs to get himself onto a wheel, try and recover as quickly as possible, but the pace continues to be poured on here. 36 laps to go now. Still not quite at the halfway point, but we have seen so much action here in the C5 scratch race final. And perhaps the first moment for a while where everyone has just taken a little bit of a deep breath here, trying to get some recovery. reassess the situation.
But it's only a group of about 12 or 13 on the lead lap now, so it's a really reduced group. And again, he goes again, he doesn't stop.
I am saying he just needs to sit on and recover a little bit. He's having none of that, not listening to me. Straight back into the move. 4 riders trying to wrestle their way off the front, joined now by a 5th. Safyan Sarawi from Indonesia. Pace just a little bit too hot to handle. And again, out on the track, one rider out in front, and a big hesitation from the main field here. So this is going to look really dangerous indeed. From the Ukraine, Dementiev has really opened up a massive gap over the field.
Half a lap in no time.
Yeah, wow.
Went.
And there is a chaser in the very familiar Brazilian colours as well. Lauro Sharman on the attack once again. So 2 individuals way out in front of the peloton. Fatigue really starting to creep back into that main peloton, creating hesitation. And with 30 laps to go, we can see a massive performance. Yehor Dementiev can see the back of the field.
He just needs to keep that effort going and be confident that that group's going to sit up and relax again at some point. There will be a hesitation, and he just has to be ready to pile on the pressure when it does to make contact and gain that lap.
So Lauro Sharman has almost been brought back to the field, but out in front we still have our lone leader. Here he comes down the back straight. He's about to get to the back end of, or the remnants of the peloton, and this is looking like an incredible individual performance here from Yehor Dementiev. We didn't see too much of him earlier on.
Nope.
Just keeping his powder dry, following the wheels, saving energy when all those early attacks were going, and then whack, just at the right time, off the front. And he has got to the back of the group that's split off the main field. Doesn't want to get caught up with them for too long. Take a moment of hesitation, pause, recover, and then keep going. He has to get to the next group to gain a lap over the peloton.
He really just wants to use them and get past them as quickly as possible. They will make contact. They've almost dragged him back to that front group.
This is ideal for Dementiev. Abraham, though, has gone off the front from the Netherlands. So while Dementiev is about to get to the back of the peloton and gain a lap on the field, and here's Abraham that has just gone off the front as well. So while a lap has just been taken, we do have one rider that leads them all at the moment on the top of the leaderboard from Ukraine, and that is Yehor Dementiev. And while that has happened, we've seen another attack from Daniel Abraham from the Netherlands, and he's about the length of the straight off the front of the peloton. So there could be 2 laps on the take here. Looking really strong. 22 laps to go. Sharman from Brazil leading the peloton, but down the back straight, Daniel Abraham from the Netherlands. About a half a lap advantage he has. So he's hoping, praying for a hesitation in the peloton. He opened up a big gap, John, and it just seems to be stabilised now. He's really struggling to get this next little effort.
It's almost as you get closer to the end of the race, the peloton knows they want to keep everyone in hand and close. But as we say that, the bunch swings up to the top of the track, and this is where Abraham just needs to really take his time, gain the time where he can, and hope to get across. But at the moment, Dementiev is in a perfect position. The only rider one lap up. He knows what he needs to do.
At the moment, with 19 laps to go, the gold medal is sitting firmly inside the peloton. He does not want to see Abraham join him a lap up on the peloton, that's for sure. At the moment, there still is a danger of that happening, and the main field now being led by Dementiev. So he knows he has one job to do here, and that's keep the average speed of the main field up enough to stop Abraham from also gaining a lap.
And that's all he needs to do, even if he makes it the hardest possible chase for Abraham to get across. At least he knows his legs are going to be on the edge if and when he does get there. So he's riding it perfectly here. But Abraham there on his own, no help from anyone else.
Yeah, this is a gutsy performance still from Abraham out in front. Still sitting around a half a lap behind the back of the peloton. That's where he's trying to get to. But this soft start in the main field is really hurting the rider from the Netherlands out in front. So they swing up again. Another hesitation, but then immediately as soon as that happens, Dementiev comes down to the bottom of the track just to keep the peloton's momentum moving forward. 15 laps to go, and this is the longest hesitation that we've seen in the main field. And as that happens, Dementiev again drags them down to the bottom of the track, keeping the speed up a little bit, trying to stop Abraham with 14 laps to go from gaining this lap.
It really is turning into a pursuit between the two. Dementiev knows he just needs to hold Abraham off, and he's won the gold medal. But again, that hesitation. But all these attacks now, this is what helps Dementiev. If the bunch keeps following those moves, keeping that speed as high as possible.
He's getting closer. You can see him on the top of the screen, getting close to the back of the field. Split now off the front. Dementiev has missed that split, but he's leading the rest of the group to close the gap down. And they'll come around with 12 laps to go this time. So Abraham still desperately trying to get to the back of the peloton. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. The average speed, the stop-start nature of the main field, it continues as they go down the back straight. There's our leader, one lap up in the left-hand side there, just slipping into the wheel to try and save some energy. So I think there's still plenty left in the tank for Dementiev to really desperately accelerate for the final couple of laps if Abraham can get to within striking distance.
He seems to have saved that. He just knows he has to do one big effort to make sure he doesn't get to the back and stay in front of him. But this is with the time now, 10 laps to go. People thinking about there's still a bronze medal up for grabs between the rest of those riders. So the sprinters in that group will be wanting to save and gamble for that sprint where best they can.
9 laps to go as Abraham comes past the finish line, and a big cheer from the crowd because he's almost at the back of the peloton. This has been the longest stall of the peloton we've seen so far, and that has allowed Abraham to make his way right up to gain a lap as well. Dementiev has gone off the front to try and get the speed up in the main field and stop Abraham from latching onto the back. And it has just strung out slightly. We can see the acceleration here at the front, and not quite getting there is Daniel Abraham of the Netherlands. 8 laps to go. Still time. There is still time for him to get to the back of the field. Even if he doesn't, there's a silver medal waiting for him if he can stay off the front. But if he can get there, then it will be a race between he and Yehor Dementiev for the gold. And it looks like it's about to happen. The main field, they have swung up the track, and Daniel Abraham from the Netherlands drifts up high as well and gains contact with the peloton. 2 riders now, 1 lap ahead with 5 laps to go. This will now be a race within the race for gold and silver.
And these two, Abraham and Dementiev, they know who they need to beat. They just need to stay close to each other. And already you can see Dementiev straight on the back wheel.
This is fascinating. The race for bronze is still up for grabs. 4 laps to go. And a big move off the front from Franz Josef Leser from Austria. Lauro Schamann from Brazil has also latched onto him. So they are racing for that bronze medal. And keep an eye on the 2 riders that are a lap up, sitting in the peloton. They're right at the very back, actually. Second last and last wheel of the main field. There they are. 3 laps to go. 2 riders off the front. They are chasing the bronze medal. The gold and silver, that's going to be contested between Abraham and Dementiev in the main field. Wow, what a fascinating finale here to the C5 scratch race final. Dementiev glued to the back wheel of Abraham. 1 lap to go and a big sprint out the front for the bronze from Lauro Sharman. He may be able to get himself the bronze medal, but back here stuck in the peloton. It's head-to-head between Dementiev and Abraham. Dementiev in the second position, but it's Abraham that's going to get to the line before him. So Daniel Abraham, after an incredibly hard-fought lap, gets the better in the final sprint to the line and claims gold. What a performance. That was a fascinating race.
All the way through that race on his own. He chased for so long to get there, and what? He did it in style at the end. Fantastic sprint.
Yehor Dementiev, I thought he did everything right. Got onto second position, just shadowed Daniel Abraham for the last couple of laps. When the final acceleration came, didn't have it in the legs to get over the top to claim the gold. Silver medal going to Yehor Dementiev of Ukraine, but it's gold all the way with the Netherlands, Daniel Abraham.
And the bronze was taken by the Brazilian, who made the racing all the way from the start, Lauro Sharman, with a great sprint at the end.
Almost the most combative award going to the Brazilian.
A fantastic race there.
That really was. That was a brilliant performance. And you can see the look on the face of Dementiev. He had one hand on the gold medal for so much of that race until Abraham made contact, also gaining a lap, and then the final fight to the line.
And you can see the disappointment. There wasn't much he could do when that group doesn't want to work with you. You can only do so much. You can't just ride on the front the whole time.
Well, so many things going on in that race. And the look and sounds of delight, Team Netherlands. Both laps taken were so hard fought. It took an extraordinary amount of time for both of those to be taken. Perhaps Abraham a little bit more difficult. So fantastic for him to finish it off by claiming gold.
It was dirty, man.
But he said how terrible it was when he was out there on his own struggling. But he'll soon forget about that when he's putting on that jersey later on.
Here's the final sprint in amongst the peloton. They were all racing for third and fourth. And the race for gold goes to the Netherlands again. Wow. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, what a race. And you can see that, as we've said, there's just so much going on. The attacks early on. And what a way to finish it off. Abraham taking home that world title. I don't think he can believe it. He worked hard for that.
Well, there was certainly no gift. That is for sure. Worthy winner. All three medalists. Lauro Sharman as well.
Yep.
So aggressive, just wasn't able to break contact with the main field to gain a lap, but did it right at the very end to claim the bronze medal. Nine riders in the end made up the peloton, one lap behind two solo efforts to gain a lap over the field to pick up the gold and silver medals. With Lauro Sharman from Brazil just popping off the front in the final couple of laps to steal the bronze over everybody else.